Okay, this is the second part of a video that's looking at land uses and conflicts in a glaciated upland landscape for the National 5 curriculum. And in this part, in this tutorial, I'm going to talk about the potential conflicts that come from the creation of hydroelectric power in this case. But you could indeed talk about any form of renewable, especially wind energy, which is also a common form of renewable energy found across the Scottish landscape. Now, the first and most obvious conflict is the pipe that we can see that's carrying the water down to the power station down there. Now, why is this a problem? Well, this pipe has changed the landscape. It might be unattractive to tourists and especially to local residents, and therefore they're going to oppose the building of this pipeline. The building of this pipeline also has led to the removal of a forestry area surrounding the pipe, because obviously building the pipe land has to be cleared, not just where the pipe's going, but either side of it, to gain maintenance and machinery access. So that will have disrupted the natural vegetation. Environmentalists and local residents are also going to be upset, particularly with that type of development. A third likely conflict, we can't see it, but I will include a photograph, comes from a dam that will have been built up there that is being used to create the reservoir at the higher end of the hydroelectric power station, and the water then builds up and is then piped down that pipe to the power station. The problem with dams is they are very intrusive in the landscape. They also block the water behind them, which creates the reservoir, which creates a further conflict because that leads to land being flooded. Land which may very well have been used for some kind of agricultural purpose in the past, but now can't because a reservoir has been created. Other conflicts are what we can see right in front of us, power lines. Wherever you create energy, renewable energy, like wind farms and hydroelectric in this case, you have to build an energy network to carry the electricity that you're creating from your power station, which we have down there, to where it's needed, which tends to be cities. So a lot more power lines have to be built through this very attractive landscape, which has a potential impact on the amount of tourism. Another impact is we can see a river down in the distance beyond the power station, where water that's coming down the pipes here is going through the power station and then being discharged into that river system. Now, if a lot of water is coming through at any given time, that river's level is going to change quite noticeably, potentially rising if you're generating an awful lot of power, especially on very wet days. That can potentially create a flood risk further downstream for residents that live near to this particular river. Other conflicts, building large power stations like this, or even wind farms, is going to result in a lot more traffic on local roads, from the time when machines are brought in to build these developments to workers that come and work in the power station down there. And we can see from the cars present that there is a workforce working in that power station. That increased traffic's got potential for pollution, but especially noise, and that's disruption in what is a very quiet rural landscape, which might influence farmers or upset farmers, as well as local residents. So we can see, thinking about this one land use, in this case the hydroelectric power station, thinking about it alongside other renewables like wind farms, how there is a range of conflicts with other land users that might be unhappy with this type of development going ahead.